The Monday agenda today is highly privileged to have an interview with the Charge d'Affaires for the Pakistan High Commission here in Tanzania, His Excellency Muhammad Salim. Mr. Muhammad, very welcome to the program. I understand that the Pakistan High Commission has been in Tanzania since 1967. You are pretty new, but I know you have all it takes to run the embassy. But how would you describe the relationship between our two countries in relation to your presence here in Tanzania?
I came here from Pakistan High Commission in Canada, in Ottawa. In the last 2 months since I am here, I have done a number of research material reading. I have interacted with local dignitaries in Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in the diplomatic corps, in the business community, in the media, and I am just in the stage of grasping the Pakistan-Tanzania bilateral relations. And what I have seen is that the two countries have excellent bilateral relationship for the last 60 years, almost now. And why excellent? Because there is no political irritant between the two countries.
Correct.
So we established our diplomatic mission in Dar es Salaam as early as in 1967, soon after Tanzania was liberated in 1961, then in 63 Zanzibar got independence, then in 64 Tanzania had the formal United Republic of Tanzania. So we have had excellent bilateral relations. There is no irritant as such in any political or economic field. So that gives me a good foundation to stand on and to work for the future.
One of the objectives, other than maintaining a bilateral relationship amongst countries for the High Commission or a diplomatic mission, is to strengthen economic ties, is to look onto the trade between our two countries. How would you describe so far the status of trade between Tanzania and Pakistan?
Given the potential, I think the trade is there, but the potential has not yet been fully exploited by both sides. As we speak, since till last year, 2019, we have the same financial calendar, July to June, in both Tanzania and in Pakistan. So our exports to Tanzania were around $100 million, US dollars. Exports from Tanzania to Pakistan were around $40 million US dollars. But the two countries, if you see their geographic proximity from Dar es Salaam port or from Zanzibar port, it's just it's in fact 3,000 nautical miles to Karachi port or to Gwadar port in Pakistan. And you do not have to pass through any other country. It is just along the Indian Ocean rim, and you straight away reach Karachi on a cargo ship in 10 days.
Okay.
So I think the trade volume is just much below its trade potential, and we have to work, both countries have to work to exploit that potential.
Are they below potential, as you've rightly said, because we do not have direct shipment to Karachi from Dar es Salaam port or from Zanzibar port, or the other, things that really cause the trade difficulties amongst our two countries?
As such, there are no trade difficulties or formal barriers. The smaller barriers could be that the two countries the business communities in both countries do not know the potential that lies in the other country.
Okay.
Tanzania has 55 million population, one of the largest in East Africa.
That's correct.
And it's also direct access to 6 landlocked countries on its western borders. Similarly, Pakistan is strategically located in South Asia, and it does provide access to Central Asia along our northwestern borders. And we have a population of 210 million.
210 million people.
And 60% of that population is below the age of 30.
Okay.
So we have a huge youth bulge, and there is a lot of potential for the two countries to meet the consumer demands of the products which you need in Tanzania and which you need in Pakistan. So, given the consumer population, just Pakistan 210 million and Tanzania 55 million, we are talking about trade between in a market of 300 million people.
Correct. That's a huge volume. And similar to that, trade. Looking onto the economic diplomacy between Tanzania and Pakistan, what do you have to say about that?
May I inform you that the government of Prime Minister Imran Khan, which came into power in Pakistan in August 2018, it's just 16 months since the government is in power.
Okay.
And the major focus of the government has been a peaceful neighborhood,
Okay.
economic diplomacy, trade, investment, and economic ties with all friendly countries, and promoting tourism, because Pakistan is basically has to be a tourism destination country. It was declared one of the most favorite destinations for tourism in 2019.
Okay.
For this year, for 2020, Pakistan has been declared the #1 tourist destination for foreign tourists
Okay.
by many Western tourism and backpacker societies and tourist associations. So I know that you have Kilimanjaro in Tanzania,
Yes.
but we are basically home to adventure tourism,
Okay.
trekking, mountaineering, and professional mountaineering. That means you have to climb 7,000, 8,000 meters high peaks.
Okay.
And nature lovers in the north of the country. So the government is focused on economic diplomacy, and one of the major policy decisions was that Pakistan has to engage with Africa in a more robust manner.
Okay.
The government of Prime Minister Imran Khan made a policy last year. We call it Engage Africa policy. And we realized the potential of 1.2 billion population on the continent. And we know that it's a huge continent of 54, 55 countries.
That's correct.
And particularly East Africa part of the continent is very close to Pakistan. Both historically, you have English as one of the official languages here. We have English as one of our official languages.
A lot in common.
So that makes the job for the business community a lot more easier. Communication becomes, it is no more a barrier between the two countries. And so in the part of that Engage Africa policy, the government hosted a invoice conference from all our embassies in Africa back in Islamabad. That conference was held just 2 months back in November. I was there to represent the High Commission from here. And in that conference, we agreed that we have to have a business conference on the continent so that we introduce Pakistan's trade, commerce, import, export, joint ventures, investment, tourism, higher education, science and technology, cultural cooperation, people-to-people contact. So it's in the context of that Engage Africa policy that we have now started investing more of our time, resources, energy, and human resource in the continent. We are opening up few more embassies in Africa. In this High Commission, I am getting a few more staff, particularly to focus on trade, investment, and import-export business between the two countries. So that will be a big boost. And the only impediment you mentioned may be that we wish that Tanzania has to have a diplomatic presence in an extended neighborhood. We are in fact on the Indian Ocean rim. Both countries are part of the Indian Ocean rim countries. So in a market of 220 million, just 3,000 nautical miles away, it makes all the economic sense for both countries, because both countries will benefit.
Maybe before I ask a couple of more questions to understand what Engage Africa policy really implies. Back to, the economic diplomacy, and you've really touched my heart when you spoke about Pakistan being one of the most renowned tourist attractions in the world, pronounced recently. And Tanzania, equally, besides agriculture, we depend heavily on tourism. There are lessons that we can draw from, promotion of tourism, from, enhancing the tourism sector to actually contribute to the GDP of the country. What are some of the lessons, based on knowing Pakistan, but also your foreign experience, diplomatic experience, that Tanzania can really draw towards promoting and enhancing the tourism sector the growth of tourism sector in the country?
In fact, the two countries have few commonalities. One is on climate change, second is on ecotourism, third is on conservation of wildlife. And we have in Himalayas, in the Hindu Kush mountain range, in Pamir mountain range, in Karakoram mountain range, these all four mountain ranges, they lie in northwest parts of Pakistan and northern parts, and we call it the roof of the world. And we have certain species from the wildlife perspective, which are like endangered. And I know that I have been following the media here, and Tanzania is a very informed society when it comes to protection and conservation of the wildlife.
Yes.
So the two governments and the private sectors engaged in conservation and ecotourism can collaborate. They can learn from each other's experience, and they can promote the ecotourism in a more robust way. Similarly, when it comes to climate change and conservation of glaciers and natural sources of water, like you have Victoria Lake, you have Kilimanjaro mountain, where you have the snow reserves for East Africa. The two countries can again collaborate there under UN framework for climate change, and also under UN framework for conservation against desertification. So there lies the potential.
Engage Africa policy, which I understand was again launched by the new government, which came into power in 2018, and the focus of Africa. You've mentioned all the beautiful and wonderful areas of collaboration, and I'm sure African countries, Tanzania included, your presence here in Tanzania will leverage a lot onto that. But one quick question: why Africa?
The answer is, why not Africa? So it has been perhaps negligence in past tenures, because we were more engaged in other international peace, security, and related issues in the region. The region is quite volatile. We are close neighbors to the Middle East. We are close neighbor to the Gulf states. The situation in Iraq, the situation in Afghanistan, and particularly situation in Afghanistan it has not been stable for the last 4 decades now. So we were more engaged on security related issues facing the region. But for the last 2 to 3 years, Pakistan has come out of the scourge of extremism, violent extremism, terrorism, and now Pakistan is part of the international efforts to stabilize the situation in Afghanistan. We hope that the situation stabilizes and peace and security restores to the country. That will be a big boost to the country's trade and investment related activities along the Central Asian states. That was the reason that we were not able to engage more in a more intense way with the countries, 54, 55
Countries in Africa.
large countries, and such a big continent with a lot of potential. And great number of youth who want higher education, who want medical tourism, who want ecotourism, who want excel in professional institutions. So we have been traditionally offering training courses in banking, in railway, in postal service, in defense forces training institutes, in our diplomatic foreign service academy, we call it. So we have been just few institutional linkages, training facilities to Africa, and during the 60s and 70s, most of Pakistan's support was to support the anti-colonial movements across the continent. But thanks God, the continent is all independent and sovereign. Each country is sovereign now, and that era has finished. Now this is the future. The future continent is Africa, and that's where we have to be present in a meaningful way. And economic diplomacy basically envisages a win-win situation. Trade, investment, and joint ventures help both sides.
Okay. What are the main areas which sort of like targeted on the Engage Africa policy? You've mentioned tourism, you've mentioned health, you've mentioned agriculture.
There are three things which the government of Tanzania is focused on. One is industrialization.
Yes.
Second, they want to improve the agricultural technology and want to increase the productivity through induction of technology into agriculture field. And third, Tanzanian government is promoting tourism as a major sector to earn foreign exchange. And it's not just coincidence that these three are the priority areas of the government of Pakistan as well.
Okay.
So when you are looking for industrialization, developing your agriculture through scientific means and applying and using science and technology to promote agricultural produce, and it's not just the produce part, how to pack it, how to take it from the farm to the market,
Yes.
and how to market it abroad, the packing, crating, shelf life, and all those aspects which are part of the value chain. And similarly, tourism, promoting the country as a favorite tourist destination for foreigners. Since the two countries have similar priorities, so that provides the room for collaboration.
As a policy, does it also necessitate, a person at the High Commission to oversee these activities? You've rightly said, Tanzania is promoting. We are envisaging through the fifth regime of His Excellency John Joseph Pombe Magufuli that come 2025 we've reached a middle income nation through industrialization, and the government is really pushing for the industrialization agenda. That also entails the transfer of skills, the transfer of technology, the transfer of things that can really boost this vision of the country come 2025. Where do you see Pakistan in this aspect?
I am very happy to report that the Pakistan economic growth has been, even after 9/11 and the situation in Afghanistan in the immediate neighborhood with which we share 2,500 kilometers border, our economic growth has never gone down below 3 to 4%. In the last 10 years, our economy has been hovering around 5% growth annually. And our exports last year increased by 12%. Pakistan has a very robust industrial base, particularly in textile sector. And by the way, may I inform you that we have Pakistani origin Tanzanians who are engaged here in textile industry. In cement industry, in jewelry industry. They are engaged in pharmaceuticals.
Education.
They are also engaged in agriculture. So there is this initial contact base is already there.
Okay.
And we produce a lot of agricultural machinery and equipment.
Okay.
Although you may import it from anywhere, but when it comes to importing at a competitive price, and given the size of the economy and the foreign exchange required to industrialize, I think Pakistan being at a positioned to help Tanzania industrialize, particularly in sugar industry, cotton industry, agricultural machinery and equipment, there and mining, oil and gas exploration, fertilizer plants, and consumer goods, packaging. These are the industries where you need foreign experts to come or foreign companies to come and put up their plants. And we have identified 12 special economic zones under China-Pakistan economic corridor, where we are providing space for any foreign company to come and put up their industrial plant. Like Tanzania has a very robust mining industry, particularly when it comes to gems and minerals.
Yeah.
And 3 of them are on a fast track, one in Punjab province, one in Sindh province, one in KP province. So Tanzanian investors are equally welcome to Pakistan to put up their plants in those special economic zones and earn foreign exchange and remit the profits to Tanzania.
Towards the end of January, we are going to witness a very important conference, I would say probably conference of the new decade, which we've just gotten into, the 2020, another 10 years, 2020, 2030, but the beginning of the new decade, which is called Pakistan Africa Trade Development Conference, which will take place in Kenya. And basically, just give us the highlights of this very important conference, which will be in a few days' time.
As I initially mentioned, under the current government's Engage Africa policy, this conference is its main theme is Pakistan-Africa trade development. And when it comes to trade, we do not mean that we only want to sell our exports to Africa. It's a 2-day event, and the conference is being hosted by the government of Pakistan. And we kept the venue in Africa by design so that the friendly countries in Africa find it more convenient to travel within the continent. And Nairobi has good flight connections to most of the countries across the continent. That was the reason that we kept the venue on the continent, one. Second, our foreign minister himself will be there for the whole duration of the conference. Our Minister for Commerce, we call Special Advisor to the Prime Minister on Commerce, Textile and Investment. He himself will be there. And the 2 days have been divided over 1 day for presentations by Pakistan's public sector, the Trade Development Authority of Pakistan, the Pakistan's business community, and the major sectors which are coming from Pakistan, the business community. It will be a 150 strong Pakistani business community representatives.
Wow.
And they mainly cover agriculture, and in agricultural products like rice, wheat, cotton, then also agricultural machinery and equipment, from tractors to all the farming tools that one needs.
Yes.
In agriculture, industrial scale agriculture. Then we have representatives from pharmaceuticals, from surgical equipment, from cement industry, from the services industry. This is one area I want to highlight again.
Okay.
In the information and communication technology. Then it's tourism. So these are the major sectors which will be represented, and the 15 embassies on the continent that Pakistan maintains, we all have been assigned to compose delegations from the country's major importers and exporters to have a fruitful interaction regarding how they can get quality products from Pakistan at competitive price and quality assurance. And second day is meant for the continent, for Africa, to make presentations. And I am happy to inform you that the government of Tanzania has composed a 4-member official delegation, in addition to around 40-member private sector delegation that I reached out to, and they have kindly agreed to attend.
Okay.
So this 4-member official delegation, one representative from Tanzania Investment Center, would be making a presentation to the Pakistani business community
Okay.
about all the investment potential that Tanzania has. And so it's a win-win conference, and it's 2 days, 1 day for Pakistan to promote its potential in business, investment, joint ventures. And the second day, we have kept for the countries in Africa, and Tanzania will be getting the
Presentation.
time for presenting its market potential, investment potential, tourism potential, and that would be I hope it will be a huge success.
For those that cannot be able to make it to Kenya for this very important conference, Pakistan Africa Trade Development Conference, on the 30th and 31st, but would still wish to have an interaction with the Pakistan business community.
Yeah.
Do they have to go through the embassies? Are there going to be other channels through which they can communicate and either close sales or engage or make future plans? Or what are the modalities for those who will not be able to actually attend but they would have wished to go to Nairobi for this important conference?
Other modalities are both Pakistan and Tanzania hold annual trade exhibitions.
Correct.
We call it Expo Pakistan, which is held in the second half of the year, every year in Karachi. Karachi is our major port city, south on the Arabian Sea and the access to Indian Ocean,
Okay.
with a population of 20 million plus.
Okay.
And I'm happy to inform you that there have been representatives from Tanzanian business community who have attended the Expo Pakistan regularly.
Wow.
Similarly, you have the Dar es Salaam International Trade Fair
in July.
in July.
Yes.
And again, I am happy to inform you that Pakistani representatives have been, business community representatives have been regularly attending the trade and exhibition fair in Dar es Salaam.
Okay.
That's one. And second, if some business community member or a sector wants a specific product or specific information, the High Commission is here in Dar es Salaam, and we can always, we are on 24/7 basis. We are accessible through social media, through internet, through formal website and email addresses, and we can connect them to their counterparts in Pakistan. And the second stage would be if they want to visit Pakistan. The major industrial centers are Karachi, Lahore, Faisalabad, Sialkot, Peshawar, Gujranwala, Multan. And for minerals and natural resources, other parts of the country. And when it comes to ports, we have two major ports in Karachi, one major port in Balochistan, Gwadar. So we can just facilitate Pakistan business visa over a cup of coffee, and you can take a flight, and it's just 7 hours flight from Dar es Salaam.
Just for the sake of our viewers who are watching this program right now, the Monday Agenda, and especially the high-class business community, what are some of the gray areas? What are some of the potentials in Pakistan that you've noticed or you've seen in Tanzania that Tanzania can actually leverage on to strengthen the economic and trade ties between our two countries? What are some of the areas which Tanzania should really up our games in Pakistan so that we can, build up the economic diplomacy amongst our countries? And
Yeah, the first step I would be that Tanzania may favorably consider, my predecessors have been raising it formally as well. I will pursue it more rigorously with the government of Tanzania, that Tanzania has to have a footprint and a presence on ground,
Very
a diplomatic mission in Islamabad and a commercial consulate in Karachi.
Okay.
So that will give, if Tanzanian exports to Pakistan today stand at 40 million, I tell you, if you have an embassy in Islamabad and a consulate in Karachi, it will jump within 1 to 2 years. It can go up to 100 to 200 million dollars worth of Tanzanian exports to Pakistan. Like we are one of the major consumers of tea.
Okay.
And I know Tanzania, one of the major agriculture products is tea.
Correct.
Similarly, you have oil seeds here, and we do import 400-500 million worth of oil seeds from abroad every year.
Wow.
So, one is that you have a diplomatic presence and a commercial presence that enables the two missions to work collaboratively and then to connect the business communities in a more effective manner. The second is like a small trade barrier would be visa on arrival for business community, for genuine businessmen.
Yes.
Somebody who is a mill owner or has a letter from the Federation of Chamber of Commerce from Pakistan, he can be just facilitated visa so that they come, and in a population of 220 million, even if you think that there are 10 million, 10% middle class, so that makes 20 million middle class.
Correct.
And they want to consume products like I would say Tanzanite. So in Pakistan, people are not very aware of the precious gemstone, and you have potential to market your exclusive products, your tea. And I tell you, every household in Pakistan, they at least have to have tea 3 to 5 times a day.
Wow.
Since morning till late night.
And you don't cultivate tea?
Our climate is such that it's not very feasible to grow tea in Pakistan. We have a very small portion where just in one district where we do it on agricultural farming testing point of view, but the climate is not suitable.
Okay. Maybe as we come towards the end of the program, the Monday agenda, 45 minutes, I always say, to speak about bilateral between the countries is always very short. But just to come towards the end of the program, what are some of the plans that you have for the future as the charge d'affaires of Pakistan here in Tanzania? Any future plans you have?
Yeah, we have a roadmap. One is that like any other embassy, we have to arrange high-level exchanges between the two countries. That's through ministerial and summit-level visits that I have to pursue with my government and with the host government at Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The last time we had a ministerial visit from Tanzania was the Minister of Defense, who visited International Defense Expo, which we host every 2 years in Pakistan. So that was in 2015. So we had the Chief of Air Staff from Pakistan who visited Tanzania 3 years back. I think that the two countries have excellent relations between the armed forces and the defense sectors of the two countries. And that gives a very satisfying platform when the two countries have close collaboration when it comes to defense and security. That means there is no irritant, and you can go ahead for bigger actions in the economic field and in the political field. Exchange of high-level visits is one. Composing a trade delegation from Tanzania directly to Pakistan in addition to this conference, because the conference is being held in Nairobi, and it does not have a exhibition component, so people have to really visit Pakistan and see the potential, see the industrial units, see the production capacity, their export quality and their export turnover and the markets where they are supplying. That gives the importer far more insight information which you cannot just comprehend over a 1 or 2 days conference.
Correct.
Then composing business delegations from Pakistan to Tanzania. The third step would be to have a joint business council of the two countries. Also to compose a Tanzania-Pakistan business council in Dar es Salaam and in other cities.
Yes.
And the fourth would be to have a MOU between the Chambers of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture of Tanzania and Pakistan. We call it Federation of Pakistan Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Okay.
And the fifth would be joint ventures. I'm again happy to inform you that there is a Pakistan origin family who are setting up a outlet of Shifa Hospital of Pakistan. It's a private sector hospital. They are opening their first unit abroad in Africa, in Tanzania, in Dar es Salaam.
What a privilege.
And it will be inaugurated in few months.
Okay.
And the professionals, the doctors, the engineers working on the project are from Tanzania and few of them from Pakistan. Similarly, we have people in the textile business who originate from Pakistan but are doing very well here. So that's my future plan, to promote political exchange at ministerial level, then to promote business by connecting the business communities of the two countries through visits and participation in exhibitions and delegations.
Those are quite a handful, and we can I personally wish you the very best of luck. I'll just speak to the Tanzanians who are watching, to the community of Tanzanians, those present, watching the Monday agenda right now. I'm sure you have one or two words that you would like to tell them. You can tell them now.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be in Dar es Salaam. I know that Tanzania is a country of for tourists. People envy those who are in Dar es Salaam or in Tanzania. I have so far only been to Zanzibar, but I look forward to visit other parts like Kilimanjaro, Mwanza, Victoria Lake, the national parks where you have the unique wildlife, where National Geographic and Animal Planet, they come here to make documentaries. And my kids are very excited to visit those parts. We will be going there in the March break. And I am excited to be here, and I want to contribute to elevate the relations between Pakistan and Tanzania from where they are now, and to make them more robust and more tangible, and at a more intense degree than where they stand now.
And you were watching the Monday agenda, and I was with the Charge d'Affaires for the Pakistan High Commission here in Tanzania, His Excellency Muhammad Salim. Thank you for watching the Monday agenda. Until next time, I'm your host, Austin Makani. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you
so much.
Bye-bye.